Thanks, Rita. Welcome to Wales Today. I'm Lucy Owen. The headlines. The Wales Air Ambulance defends merging two sites into one new base in North Wales, saying it will save lives.
What was really obvious was that we were missing a significant number of patients. A lot of those patients were in Mid and North Wales, and it tended to be after 8 o'clock at night.
3-year-old Thomas died suddenly last year. His parents say it's completely heartbreaking. They're still waiting to find out why, because of a lack of child pathologists.
13, 14 months down the line, we still don't know. You know, we've got a lot to still do when we do finally find out, because we haven't been able to register his death, and that's hard enough as it is.
The Ministry of Justice says it's working to improve the service. Also tonight, former Wales international Rees-Zammit is leaving his American football dream to return to rugby.
Excellent news. I didn't know, but if he's coming back to Welsh rugby, that's fantastic.
I think he can bring Wales a lot of more wins. Yeah.
I think he'll be over in France, maybe England.
Eisteddfod, Wrexham or Heath.
And from Wrexham FC's star investor to people across the country, the excitement is building ahead of the start of Wales and Europe's biggest cultural festival. Good evening, noswaith dda. The Wales Air Ambulance says hundreds of patients were missed over the past 2 years because their resources were in the wrong place at the wrong time. There are currently 4 bases around Wales, in Cardiff, Llanelli, Welshpool and Caernarfon. The charity's plans to merge the sites in Mid and North Wales and relocate them to a new base in North Wales have faced strong opposition. But they insist there's often a misconception about the work they do and that this plan will save more lives. Now that the legal process challenging the plans has concluded, the charity has spoken for the first time to our health correspondent Jenny Rees, who has this special report.
Laura Davis's husband, Arwel, was a hot air balloon enthusiast, a passion he passed on to his family, who now take to the skies to raise funds in his memory. He was killed in a road collision 4 years ago, despite 3 specialist crews from the Wales Air Ambulance joining police, fire and ambulance at the scene.
They did everything to save my husband's life, and I will forever be indebted to the wonderful cause that they are. You know, that they literally brought a hospital setting to the scene of an accident.
A charity runs the service. Fundraising pays for the transport, the NHS funds the medical expertise on board. But when they started working 24 hours a day from Cardiff, they took a deeper look at the data. As their 3 other sites in West, Mid and North Wales only operate during the day, there were gaps in provision.
What was really obvious was that we were missing a significant number of patients. A lot of those patients were in Mid and North Wales, and it tended to be after 8 o'clock at night.
Over the 2 years, there were 551 patients who got an ambulance response, but didn't get the air ambulance response that ideally they could have. Plus, over that 2-year spell,
there were 360 days between Caernarfon and Welshpool where we saw no patients at all. Far and away, the biggest driver of that disparity, if you like, is the hours.
But it's not just about shift patterns. Each base has a car and a helicopter to get the specialist critical care teams to the patient. The helicopter is ideal for remote locations, but the cars work well in urban.
But increasingly we see our aircraft dragged in, for example, to the counties of North East Wales. Because of the practical difficulties in the road networks around Caernarfon and Welshpool, there isn't a viable road response from either Caernarfon or Welshpool to the North East. So by default, we take the aircraft.
But plans to merge resources by closing 2 bases and opening a new site near the main road route through North Wales have met stiff opposition.
The strength of support for the air ambulance from Welshpool was based on the fact that we need a pre-hospital care system that was on hand. We've just had a recent accident. The helicopter reached the accident within literally 6 minutes. That 6 minutes would be now 24 or 30 minutes from the new base.
The Air Ambulance charity say there's a fundamental misconception about their role because they would never expect to be the first response.
I always think of it as a first wave of care coming from your ambulance service, and then the service is your second wave of care coming. So I suppose the time factor is not so much of an issue. So we carry general anaesthesia, we can ventilate people, we can give them organ support, all the way down to if it's blunt trauma or penetrating trauma, we can actually do what's called, I suppose, open heart surgery, if you like. So we can put a couple of holes in a patient's chest and crack open their chest. That reveals their vital organs, the lungs, the heart, and we can actually put some stitches in the heart if the heart has been actually punctured, you know, and then we can transfuse blood.
There's another issue if crews in some parts of Wales see fewer patients, the impact it has on their skills. Derwin spent 5 years based in Carnarvon, but has recently moved to South Wales.
If I'm bluntly honest, it's a lot busier down in South Wales, and I feel within this role we need to maintain a skill set to be a paramedic on the road, if you like, and then to be a CCP within this kind of service, you need a lot more skills, and you need to practice and maintain them skills to maintain competence, if you like.
With the legal challenge to their plans now concluded, the charity hopes to press ahead and start operating from a new site by the end of next year.
And Jen is with me now. So there have been real concerns about the merger of these two sites. Do you think how the charity has explained this decision to you will help put some of those concerns to rest?
It's a difficult one. I know that they certainly recognise the strength of feeling out there, but I've felt that up until now they've not been able to kind of use the media and speak out and kind of answer some of those questions. Now, ironically, there's a similar theme from both sides, and that's around time. You know, when I've spoken to some of the campaigners, that they put a great deal of focus on the time it takes to get to a patient and then that onward journey to a hospital. And so you can see the logic then that if you're kind of centrally based within Wales, you've got a strong likelihood of reaching kind of a wider area within a short space of time. But the charity wants to dispel the perception that getting the patient somewhere else is their big goal here. They've got the skill on board, they say. They can do so much of this on the roadside, you know, in somebody's home. So the time element that they are more concerned with is creating shifts that cover more hours in the day. So their argument is that by pooling resources, you remove some of the logistical challenges and you get a more efficient and more effective service as a result.
Our health correspondent, Jenny Rees, thank you very much. 2 men have pleaded not guilty to charges of historical, physical and sexual offences against children at a former assessment centre. It follows an investigation into the former Coed Glas Assessment Centre in Abergavenny between the 1970s and 90s. From Merthyr Tydfil Crown Court, Stephen Fairclough reports.
The 2 men stood motionless in the dock as the 45 charges were read out by the court clerk. Angus Riddell, in a yellow tie and red trousers, said not guilty 38 times to charges of indecent assault, attempted indecent assault and cruelty to children under 16 and as young as 9. In a dark suit, Robin Griffiths pleaded not guilty to indecent assault and attempted indecent assault. The offences are alleged to have happened in the 1970s, 80s and 90s. A trial date has been set for the 18th of January in 2027. The prosecution said the case is expected to last 3 months. It follows an investigation by Gwent Police into reports of sexual and physical abuse at the former Coed Glas Assessment Centre in Abergavenny in Monmouthshire between the 1970s and 1990s. Defending Riddell, Jonathan Rees KC argued that the trial date should be in May 2027. Mr. Rees said there would need to be an examination of extensive records and social media. The judge said the trial should be held at the earliest opportunity and fixed the trial date for the 18th of January in 2027. But there will be a further case management review in February next year. Both men were released on conditional bail. Stephen Fairclough, BBC Wales Today, Merthyr Tydfil Crown Court.
2 teenagers have pleaded not guilty to murdering a 38-year-old man in Barry last month. Cameron Aman died after police were called to an incident on the 1st of July. The 2 defendants, aged 16 and 17 from Llantwit Major, can't be identified because of their ages. They're due to go on trial at Merthyr Tydfil Crown Court in November. Two heartbroken parents say they're still waiting to find out what happened more than a year after their 3-year-old died suddenly and unexpectedly. Katie Louise Llewellyn went into her son Thomas's bedroom in June last year to wake him for a family holiday to find he'd passed away. A cause of death has not yet been given, and the delay has been put down to a lack of consultant paediatric and perinatal pathologists. The Ministry of Justice says it's working to improve the service, as Sarah Davitt reports.
He was so confident, so happy and bubbly and just funny. Didn't let anything stop him.
These are the moments that Aled Wyn-Jones and Katie Louise Llewellyn cherish of their little boy, Thomas. A cheeky, smiley child who loved watching wolves play. Born with Down syndrome and Hirschsprung's disease, but this never held him back.
Even strangers, if they saw us out and about, they would comment about his smile. It made people smile. He cheered people up.
The 2nd of June 2024 is a date Aled and Katie will remember forever. That morning, while getting ready for their family holiday, Katie went into their son's bedroom and found that he had passed away. He was 3 years old.
To find him in the morning, knowing he was fine, was just utter heartbroken.
And 14 months later, they're still waiting for answers to know the reason why.
We still don't know. We've got a lot to still do when we do finally find out, because we haven't been able to register his death, and that's hard enough as it is.
Recent figures from the Royal College of Pathologists show that there are only 2 consultant paediatric and perinatal pathologists working in Wales, and that across the UK there's a severe shortage. And according to one former pathologist, it's one of the many problems within the field.
The current system for training allows us to stop training within the post-mortem specialty quite early in our careers, but also as less and less take up that specialty of post-mortems, it means that there's more workload for those who are trained in post-mortems.
According to the coroner's office, it's not possible to hold an inquest until the pathologist results have been received. The Ministry of Justice has said that they acknowledge the challenges facing services and are working urgently to find a long-term solution. But for Aled and Katie, these challenges have meant that the grief is even harder.
All we want to know is the answers and for something to be done so other families don't go through what we have.
And these answers will mean that this family can start to move into the next stage of their lives as they hold on to the memories of their little boy.
Sarah Davitt with that report. You're watching Wales Today, still to come before 7. Cardiff City begin life in League One this weekend, but fans will be hoping it's a short stay.
And there's more dry weather to come over the weekend, but it's not all plain sailing. There is some rain on the way during Sunday, and we need to watch out for Storm Floris as well. I'll give you more details about the weekend forecast and Monday later in the programme.
Now he's coming home. After 18 months, Rees-Zammit is leaving his American football dream behind to return to playing rugby. The NFL is extremely tough to crack, and after spells at the Kansas City Chiefs and Jacksonville Jaguars, he didn't end up playing a regular season game. He says he's excited to be returning, but we don't yet know where the former Wales Lions and Gloucester wing will be playing. Matt Murray has more.
His skill and pace has been missed on the international pitch in Wales. Rees-Zammit quit rugby 18 months ago to pursue a career playing American football. He participated in the NFL's International Player Pathway, which helps foreign-born players. The 24-year-old was signed to the 2024 Super Bowl winners, the Kansas City Chiefs, but was cut after failing to impress. He then joined the Jacksonville Jaguars, where he's been part of the practice squad.
Any convert from another league, it's always going to be a difficult task, especially when you're, like I said, when you're up against some of the best athletes in the world who have been giving their all for this sport, and they've been playing ultimately since the age of 5, potentially. So he was, you know, the catch-up that he had to do in a really short space of time was quite drastic.
The earning potential is staggering. The highest annual salary in NFL history was signed last year, worth $275 million. Reports out of the Jaguars training camp last month suggested Rees-Zammit had missed training with a lower back injury, and his future was placed in doubt. Now he's announced his decision to leave the NFL and return to rugby on social media. He said, "It's been a great experience, but it's time to come home. I've decided that this is the best time to make this decision, to give myself time to get everything in place for next season." He added, "There's only one thing that's on my mind. That's coming back to rugby and doing what I do best." People attending a summer sports competition in Swansea welcomed the news.
What an experience he must have had. And yeah, well, we're very happy that he's back and that he's going to be hopefully playing for the Welsh team.
He's a £1 million man, and he's so I can't see a Welsh region forward in him.
Because he's a talent, he's exciting to watch. He's just a cracking rugby player.
There's Paul Thornburn, signed by the Rams for this game.
In 1987, Wales fullback Paul Thorburn was invited to kick off the Los Angeles Rams friendly against the Denver Broncos at Wembley. A contract with the Rams was said to be on offer, but it was not for Thorburn. So where next for the winger, known in Wales as Rees Lightning?
Well, of course, he's not coming back to Wales at a good time, really. Wales, you know, in terms of its regional structure, is under review. You know, I'm not too sure that he would want to jump straight into bed with a Welsh region because there are serious question marks over the future of the regional game. You know, if he's desperate for money at the moment and needs to get back into employment soon, then I suspect his best option would be to look outside of Wales.
Although we know the American dream is over, it's unclear where his rugby future will be.
Wales's women suffered a heavy defeat to Australia in their final World Cup warm-up. They headed to Sydney full of confidence after an impressive showing in the first test in Brisbane, but were outclassed at the Oval. Jasmine Joyce Butcher's try on her 50th cap for Wales proved to be their only score, with the game ending in a 36-5 loss. Sean Lynn is due to name his World Cup squad when they arrive home.
We've just got to remember we are in such a better place than we were last year. You've got to celebrate the small little wins that we do, and there's so much positives from that game. Yes, we've got a lot to learn, and we will go home, learn, go into World Cup with a different mindset. And yeah, it's such a better place. It's the nicest I've ever felt in a Welsh jersey.
Golf, and Japan's Miyushi Mashita leads the Women's Open at the halfway stage of the Women's Open at Royal Porthcawl. Wales's Darcy Harry, playing in her first major at her local home club, is in joint 10th on 2 under par, 9 shots off the lead. The event continues through the weekend with the winner crowned on Sunday. On to football, and Cardiff City begin life in League One this weekend, the first time they've played at that level for more than 20 years. Following a turbulent time for the club, fans will be hoping it's a short stay and they mount a successful promotion campaign. Lily Hewitson reports.
It's all changed for the Bluebirds this season. Another new manager and a new division, League One. It's been 22 years since Cardiff City have sat in the 3rd tier of English football, and tomorrow they'll begin their campaign to get back to the Championship as they take on Peterborough at home.
There's not been one reference to last season. Everything's been about this season, this pre-season, the games coming up and what they hope to achieve in terms of what they want to see. And that's very much my mindset about looking forward and seeing the opportunity that's there in front of us.
It's been one of the most turbulent periods in the Bluebirds' recent history. Last season saw protests against the ownership of the club, 2 managers come and go, and the departure of Aaron Ramsey after his short stint in charge failed to arrest the slide to relegation. The past month has seen Wales legend Gareth Bale front a bid to buy his hometown club. And for the Cardiff fans, excitement is building for the new season, but they're apprehensive of the challenge ahead.
I'm cautiously optimistic. We've got a really young, exciting, youthful squad. Pre-season's been very exciting. We've changed the way we're playing. I think Barry Murphy's come in and done a very solid job so far with his hands tied behind his back in a way. He's not been able to bring in new players. It's an exciting, refreshing time for the club and the fans to sort of hopefully enjoy football again, because the last few years it's been very, very miserable.
It's the night before we start playing tomorrow. It's a bit like Christmas Eve. Really excited. So hopefully to this time tomorrow we'll be, 3 points on the road to playing Championship football again. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a challenge, and hopefully we can emulate a side like Birmingham and go straight back up. But I'm under no illusions that this is Cardiff City. We're our own worst enemy, and it's going to be tough this season.
Well, it's now up to new manager Barry Murphy to pick the club up and guide it back into the Championship. How easy that will be remains to be seen. Lily Hewitson, BBC Wales Today at the Cardiff City Stadium.
Meanwhile, Newport County's League Two season gets underway at home to Notts County tomorrow. The Exiles got their season off to a winning start against Barnet in the League Cup earlier in the week. They'll be hoping to improve on finishing just outside the relegation places last season.
I'm confident in the group, really confident in the squad. We all have belief in them. If the way they've worked and the way they've adapted to what we're trying to do, and we're definitely not reinventing the wheel. We're just trying to be really, really clear with how we see the game and how we expect the players to play, and more importantly, represent the people of Newport on a Saturday. That's what the club is.
Now, the National Eisteddfod kicks off this weekend with visitors descending on Wrexham for the week-long cultural festival. More than 150,000 people are expected to attend, and 6,000 competitors will showcase the best Welsh art, music, drama and literature. Matthew Richards is live in Wrexham for us tonight. Matt.
Diolch, Lucy. Croeso I Wrexham. Yes, of course, it's not in the city centre where the Eisteddfod is being held this year. The Maes, or the site, is a couple of miles away. That's down near the industrial estate. Well, Wrexham was the last hosting the event in 2011. A lot has changed since then. The town has become a city. The football club is now owned by Hollywood A-listers, and they've won successive promotions to reach the Championship. Well, Wrexham's been preparing to welcome the Eisteddfod for a couple of months now. And while it's not a place where you'd find a high number of Welsh speakers, the club is trying to change that.
Eisteddfod yn Wrexham o hyd.
Rob McElhenney has been an enthusiastic Welsh learner since becoming co-owner of Wrexham FC alongside Ryan Reynolds. His official translator, journalist Maxine Hughes, who's being honoured by the Eisteddfod herself this year, asked him for his message to festival goers.
To be able to experience the Welsh culture and the beauty of the arts and the language and the people is an honor to have in the town of Wrexham, and it's just going to be an absolute blast. So have a good time, be safe, and be proud.
I'r bag.
To the bag.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah. Cymerwch eich connau i'r bag.
And Rob is far from the only Welsh speaker at the club. In a room above the pitch, staff members Megan and Josh are getting their latest lesson from Wrexham FC's full-time Welsh language tutor. In partnership with the National Centre for Learning Welsh, Hugh Birkhead has been teaching staff, players and fans from around the world for the past 2 years.
Yeah, it's quite a unique thing, a unique selling point. And yeah, to give the staff the opportunity to either learn the Welsh language or grow in confidence to use some Welsh that they have in and around the place in their work, but also in their private lives as well.
The club will be represented at the Eisteddfod, and Megan is excited to try out some of what she's learned.
Yeah, I think there's a bit more buzz around it, a lot more people aware around the club. All the kids obviously doing stuff around Eisteddfod in schools and stuff, so we get to hear a lot about it. So to be involved this year is going to be really fun.
Eisteddfod organisers say Wrexham is a great base, even if Welsh isn't widely spoken here.
The number of Welsh speakers is quite low. I think it's about 12% currently. However, I think the people of Wrexham and the area and the surrounding areas, I think they all consider themselves to be Welsh. So there's a strong Welsh feel to Wrexham, maybe compared to other areas, in the northeast. And I think, therefore, hopefully, we're trying to get lots of local people to come to the Eisteddfod.
This year, several Wrexham craft groups have combined to create an Eisteddfod display at the T Pawb Arts Hub.
We're all to join together to make crocheted or knitted
flowers of any kind that they wanted, to use up those small amounts of yarn that they might have in their stash, and it stops it going into landfill, but also it builds something beautiful for the Eisteddfod.
Welcome to Wrexham may be the name of a documentary about the football club, but it's also the message of the week ahead, in the hope that the Eisteddfod will bring people together, creating a close-knit community in the heart of the city. Well, if you're planning to head to the Eisteddfod via public transport, then there are extra trains being laid on into Wrexham, and there's a free shuttle bus taking passengers from the train and bus stations to the Mice and back again as well. But the key question on everyone's lips throughout the next week is, what is the weather going to be like? So for the answers, let's head to Derek.
Diolch yn fawr, Matthew. Well, some good news. If you're heading to the Eisteddfod tomorrow, it will stay dry, but I think an umbrella will come in handy on Sunday, at least for a while. And then watch out on Monday with Storm Floris on the way. That will bring a spell of rain and some unseasonably strong winds as well. More on that in a moment. First today, and it's been dry in Talgarth in Powys. These cattle enjoying some sunny spells there, and it's felt fresher than yesterday with a northwesterly breeze. Now, through this evening and tonight, most of the country will stay dry, some clear periods. Not dry everywhere, though. We could see 1 or 2 showers in the northeast. The wind will fall light, allowing the odd mist or fog patch to form, and a cool night for the start of August. Temperatures inland dropping as low as 6 or 7 Celsius. Now, tomorrow we have a window of settled weather thanks to this ridge of high pressure extending from the Azores. So tomorrow then, a fairly decent looking day, generally fine and dry, some sunny spells, some patchy cloud as well. Might just squeeze out the odd light shower from that. And feeling pleasantly warm tomorrow with lighter winds. Tomorrow evening looks fine if you're planning a barbecue, but then overnight it will cloud over. The breeze will pick up with some rain reaching western counties later in the night, and it will be a milder night with temperatures in double figures. And then on Sunday, it's all changed, breezier with outbreaks of showery rain spreading eastwards, but that will clear. So cheering up during the afternoon, turning dry and brighter with some sunny spells developing. So a cold front will move eastwards on Sunday, but it's this developing area of low pressure we're watching. That's going to deepen as it engages the jet stream. A potent area of low pressure for the time of year, named Storm Floris by the Met Office. Now, Scotland will bear the brunt of the storm, but here in Wales we are in for some strong winds, especially in the north and northwest. So windy on Monday with rain clearing to sunshine, and it will be gusty at the Eisteddfod in Wrexham. Lucy.
OK, Derek, thank you very much. And that is Wales Today. I'll be back with the latest for you after the BBC News at 10. But for now, from all of us on the programme, have a good evening. Hwyl fawr i chi.